So now, the next part on the Out of Time class, we have been, and you might have seen the video, we have been focusing on In Search for the Miraculous. And that was last week too. And so we do this week. So it's like In Search for the miraculous being that what you cannot put under words, that doesn't come from the human frame of reference, but definitely is reaching you. And so today the focus, or the topic, if you want, or the way to look at things is coming from say, ideas related to Gurdjieff, George Ivanovich Gurdjieff. It's like another Caucasian Greek, as they say in Wikipedia, is a Caucasian Greek. And he went through a revelation himself, like he went through a spiritual awakening himself and set up all kinds of ways to wake up out of the dream that you think is a normal human existence. And so I want to use him, like his ways of looking at things, for just a moment to see how that comes about in his thinking. And it is great to use it because he describes the awakening process, or the ways to enlightenment, if you want. The ways to enlightenment he shares in a very specific way. So it's pretty characteristic, and you might recognize some in your path too, that is occurring to you in the path that you choose to walk. And so I have a couple of things that I want to offer. One of them is a little movie that is made by say a Californian psychologist, and she made with her friend like a real beautiful presentation. Her name is Ilana, and she made a beautiful presentation of how to be honest, because Gurdjieff has a lot about that. It's like going into deeper layers of yourself to become honest and direct in your expression, in the way that you are present, and the way that you can look at yourself, being completely honest in, okay, for instance, I have seen myself as a human being on planet Earth, living my daily life and thinking that that is it. And I discovered there is something else going on too. So not necessarily, it's like directly knowing how to identify yourself, or how that works, like carrying some confusion about that with you, say that could manifest itself in a split mind, that okay, there's something like the godly, and there's something as my human mind, and the two don't seem to meet. Maybe if I pray hard enough, I might come there. Or maybe when I isolate myself, like we did in the early years, or still monks do it, like going in complete retreat, like complete isolation, in order to come to a God experience, or even hurting yourself, having physical pain, or surrendering in really interesting ways. Like if you see it in the Buddhistic tradition, how there's people going to their holy places by literally bowing down every step along the way, and more like these rituals that people use in order to wake up. Now, how effective that all is, I have no idea, but the exploration, or the taking a look at the way that you can wake up, is interesting and is helpful. At least that is my experience with it. It's like very interesting to see how Gurdjieff is talking about this. But my interest in Gurdjieff started with 3 points, and one of them is that he did a lot with movements, with dance. And the other thing is he did a lot with music. He composed music. He played on his harmonium, or with a friend of him, the Hartman, I think is his name. It's like they composed all kinds of music from very different traditions, just like he uses it almost like his photo album of all the places that he went, but he put this into music, into rhythm, into melodies, and composed that. Well, that I can relate to that. So here we are. Like I said, Gurdjieff is interesting for a couple of reasons. So one of them was the movements, the dance that he's making. The other one is then the music that he's composing. And then the other part is that the fourth way, which is like he says that it is his path, or he defined it, and we come to that in a moment, is really his way of presenting how you should wake up, how that is very well possible. And on the other hand, you will be attracted to that way automatically. You don't even have to choose it, but it asks full dedication. So to make sure that you know where I'm coming from, it's like I'm not a follower of Gurdjieff. I'm not using him to say like, okay, you really got to do this path that he's presenting. No, because some of the things that he's sharing would not be my way. I know that for sure. One of the things that he says, which I really like, is no matter which path you follow, like, don't do it with your eyes closed, in a sense. Like, don't be naive in following that path. And what he meant with that was this, is like, stay with your own experience. Stay in that, and dare to ask questions, and it's like, be active with it yourself. Take your full responsibility for your path, because it cannot be organized. It is not depending on anyone. It will come down to you waking up, having your own experience. Like, nobody can do that for you or tell you how to do that. So this is great. So that's another part that I recognize is, that works for me that way too. And if you're going to these classes or watch videos that I present, you will see the same thing. Like, I will not ask you to follow me or to see me as your guru or to who knows what. Like, none of that. I see this as a total way of taking full responsibility yourself, getting directions or challenges or invitations, if you want, however you want to formulate it, to come out of your come out of your comfort zone and discover something new yourself. Like, yes, I love to do that. But for the rest, no, don't set up a monument or don't do this and that. No, I'm only helping you to remember who you truly are. If I could do such thing, like, just by being the certainty myself, expressing myself as this light that I recognize myself to be, which I recognize in you. That's why I invite you to go beyond your, say, self-imposed limitations. So that's really good to know. So there's a matter of equality, and also a friendship, if you want, or companionship in that. Like, we have the same goal. We're on the same path. It's your path. Yeah, it's my path. Yes. And that's what I really love about it. So, okay, that was enough talking for now. So some visual representation is following now, and this is from this psychologist from California, Ilana and she has a name too, of course, and you will see it in the video. So I had contact with her before I I wanted to make sure that I could share this in class without getting myself into trouble with copyright. But I think that this video is great because of the originality of the way of presenting. Not all of it is completely on the mark as when I look at it. So like, that's all right. It is at least helping you to go beyond your idea about what honesty is. Which is a great discovery, and lovely visuals too.
George Gurdjieff was an interesting mystic with some fresh views on psychology. For one, he made a point about how much we kid ourselves when we say, "I'm going to be honest." Being honest has a nice sound to it, a good moral ring. But how much we delude ourselves with that shield. I'm just being honest. It does feel so important to be honest, but the fact is it can be hard to see the part we play in the war, or to know our own defenses, or to understand our own frustrations. And so there's an escape valve where you say, I just got to tell you the truth. Now, I don't know if anyone's ever told you this, and it's not easy to say, but I think you're a narcissist. And the only thing I can do is give you my truth, because that's the best I can do. Gurdjieff says that, well, many people tell themselves they summon their strength to tell their truth. It can actually be a sign of a stronger character to hold a bit in, to digest your own position before you declare it. Sometimes quite hard to do. Gurdjieff is talking about all the ways we kid ourselves on the road to honesty. Because the word honesty has been used cheaply, he replaces it with the word sincerity. One parable comes to us through his disciple Uspensky. Apparently, Gurdjieff gave his disciples the assignment of telling the truth of their lives. And then he went on vacation. And they all sat around, and one guy tried really hard to do it, tried to fill the assignment and give the truth of his life. I'm going to tell you what I can. I have 2 daughters. I enjoy fixing up cars. I have a cat. Her name is Flo. There's what I like is to cook some casserole. Some people can fill the air with a million factoids and not a grain of truth. You can imagine variation on the same theme. One guy so badly wanted to tell his truth that he captured the audience with the most intense details of his inner world. My sister is unkind to her children in a way that is not going to help them grow up better. If I could, I would tell that to her directly, because I do think that she's doing it wrong, that there is a way that I could let her know. Gurdjieff is saying that sometimes when we declare my truth, we are sticking with familiar ground, defended ground, sticking our heels into the sand. If you're holding very hard, you're defending very hard. The solution is something like loosening your grip. He might have been a sadist, but Gurdjieff would have his disciples go on long fasts where they would exercise vigorously as if to peel themselves away or lose themselves. Of course, in the dizzying high that comes from near starvation and hallucination, you might encounter all sorts of ideas. Ideas that are not as familiar, ideas which come with depleted defenses, where we understand the behaviors of people who hurt us. Your feet have slipped out from the sand. And what comes is a sincerity that's hardest to hold. Your position feels shattered into the stars.
Yeah, so that was an interesting I thought it was a great clip from Ilana Simons, and which is interesting for the idea of say honesty, and it's a start. Like I said, it's not completely on the mark or anything in the sense of, okay, is this going to help you to become, for your awakening? Yeah, well, partially yes, it does. It's great to have this idea of honesty, to take another look at, okay, what stories am I telling and all this, I'm not going too deep into that right now. So the next thing I want to present to you is then the 4 ways, because if there's a 4th way, there must be some other ways too. And if you're a participant in this class, like you signed up for this, you received a PDF from Uspensky, which is one of his disciples. You heard that too in this video. And Uspensky wrote a book and about the 4th way, and In Search of the Miraculous, that was the name. So that's a great title, of course, because this is the title of our class today too. And very helpful. I could listen to it in an audiobook. You can find it on YouTube. There's an audiobook, and the whole book is being read to you in 1.5 hours. So I went through that, and that is actually for me it's very interesting to hear how such different path with such different background has so many similarities in the awakening process and the ways to awaken. You could say, like, okay, fasting, intense fasting is not what the practice is here. What I never talked about it, or doing your little exercise until you completely fall apart is not what I'm telling you either. But I'm definitely sharing with you that the whole process of awakening is a very physical process. Like, that's why we introduce ideas as resurrection. Like, even the body holds, or your ideas about body and about the memories that you share in your body are such a integral part of the awakening. And I say this in many ways. It is more like I bring this in from the idea of light. Like, when light enters into your mind, when you allow space to occur into your mind, that has an effect on your cellular, organization. Your cells will start to vibrate in a different frequency, and thus releasing memories that you held in there in some way. I don't know exactly how this works, but I experience it that way. I have experienced it that way. Now it's up to you to use it and to see, hey, is that for me that way too? Does that work for me that way too? For many of us, it is really like you have to burn up old ideas. And that's a physical process. So I know for myself that I went through episodes which I worked physically very hard, and I wanted to do as heavy work as I could possibly find, cleaning roofs and all that, cleaning the leaves of the roofs, and in cold and rain and all that. And I love that, but it was completely part of my awakening using that, literally using that to burn up old ideas I held about myself. So that's one part. So now I would love to present to you, I made a little video for it to present to you the 4 ways. So here we go. It's only 1.5 minutes, so it's very compact. And most of the information I got from Wikipedia and not from Uspensky's book, even though there's a lot of similarity. All right. And here, for the ones that are, I don't know, Michelle, if you're here, let me see. So I'm going to show you right away too, that there's a possibility Oh, it's unavailable here. Closed captions is unavailable. So you can only do this on your smartphone, but you could literally have all kinds of languages, subtitles in all kinds of languages. It is not working on the desktop, but it does work on your phone. So you do CC, then you go here and find your language that you want. But since most of us speak English, it is not a problem. But there's Dutch and there's French and there's Spanish, Japanese and Chinese even, Arabian. Anyway, so here is the In Search of the Miraculous, and you'll see, and here. So I'll do this one more time in case you missed it. Can
you slow it down, please?
Yeah, I can, sure. When the text is ready, I'll stop for a moment. Okay, I'll stop for a moment. So Gurdjieff said there are 4 ways to come to enlightenment. Each way needs a total commitment. So way 1 is the way of the fakir. The fakir is then the ascete. Like the fakir works to obtain mastery of the attention, self-mastery, through struggles with controlling the physical body, involving difficult physical exercises and postures. So the way of the monk, Gurdjieff said that the way of the monk is to obtain the same mastery of the attention, self-mastery, through struggle with controlling the affections in the domain, as we say, of the heart, which has been emphasized in the West and come to be known as the way of faith due to its practice, particularly in Catholicism, the way of the monk. The way of the yogi. Gurdjieff said that the way of the yogi is to obtain the same mastery of attention as before self-mastery through struggle with controlling mental habits and capabilities. Oh, sorry. The fourth way. Gurdjieff said that his fourth way was a quicker means than the first three ways because it simultaneously combined work on all three centers rather than focusing on one. It could be followed by ordinary people in everyday life, requiring no retirement into the desert. The fourth way does involve certain conditions imposed by a teacher, but blind acceptance of them is discouraged. Each student is advised to do only what they understand to verify for themselves the teaching's ideas. See this as a warming up. Okay, so I'll take this off. So I can't hear you if you share something with me, unless you yeah, put up your hand or something, or write me a little chat. All right, so this is the introduction to Gurdjieff's, and I could show a dance. There's a lot of material available, but enjoy it if you want. That's great. I played some music in the beginning. I'd love to play another song of him because of his compositions I really like, and yeah, just like that. So this is the first part of the class, and so this is a good time for a moment in which we could call have a break. I'm playing a song, and I'll meet you in 5 minutes, where we start with the presentations of the participants, which is also very interesting to see that. All right, see you in a couple of minutes. Do what you need to do. Thank you so much.